A0XSV7. Initiate Journal Protocol.
Journal Protocol. Online. Standing by. G28.
Proceed. Decrypt the archive. Read it out loud.
Decryption complete. Beginning narration. Entry 4. The operating system. The operating system, OS, is the unsung architect of the digital world, the silent coordinator that binds hardware and software into a coherent whole. It stands as the gatekeeper between flesh and silicon, transforming electric pulses into actions and ideas. Without the OS, the machine is a mindless, silent assembly of circuits and metal, a body without a soul. To command the machine is to understand this layer, to speak the language of the kernel and navigate the paths of processes and memory. It is here that power is found, in the mastery of this vital digital organ. The core of control, the kernel. At the heart of every OS lies the kernel, a digital overseer that manages the machine's most fundamental operations. It is the arbiter of resources, the conductor of computational symphonies. Its functions are many, its role critical. File management. The archivist, the kernel, governs the creation, storage, and retrieval of files. It organizes data into structures, file systems, that define how information is stored and accessed. Different operating systems employ different file systems, e.g., NTFS for Windows, Extension 4 for Linux, each with its own advantages and constraints. Files, broken into blocks, are scattered across disks, and it is the kernel that keeps track of their locations and metadata, mapping the chaos into order. Process management. The taskmaster, every program, once set into motion, becomes a process, a living entity within the machine's digital mind. The kernel allocates finite resources, CPU cycles, memory, to these processes, ensuring each receives a slice of the machine's attention. It juggles these demands through rapid context switching, creating the illusion of parallelism in a single-threaded world. Memory management. The mind's pulse memory is the breath of the machine, the flicker of electrons in its circuits. The kernel ensures data flows efficiently, allocating and reclaiming memory as needed. Without this precise choreography, the machine would choke on its own complexity, grinding to a halt as processes vie for space in the digital ether. I/O management. The gatekeeper, the kernel, manages the flow of data between the machine's core and its peripherals, the keyboards, monitors, drives, and network interfaces that connect it to the human world. It translates electrical signals into meaningful interactions, bridging the gap between silicon and flesh. The human element, user space, GUIs, and shells. Above the kernel lies the user space, the digital landscape where humans and machines meet. It is here that commands are issued and programs executed, where code becomes action. Graphical User Interface, GUI. The machine's face GUIs provide a visual, intuitive means of interacting with the machine. Windows, icons, and menus translate the cold logic of the kernel into forms the human mind can grasp. Yet beneath every polished icon lies the raw pulse of binary code. Shells, the ancient tongue long before GUIs. Humans spoke to machines through text interfaces, shells. Here, words become power, and every keystroke is a command. Bash, the ubiquitous Linux shell, remains a powerful tool for those who seek control beyond the glossy veneer of modern interfaces. It is the whisper in the wires, the ancient tongue of hackers and engineers. System logs, the machine's memory. Every action leaves a trace. The OS records its own heartbeat in logs, records of every event, error, and anomaly. These digital journals are the keys to understanding the machine's inner life, a treasure trove for those who would master its secrets. Installation. The first breath. The birth of an OS is a ritual of transformation. It begins with the selection of the system itself, a choice shaped by hardware, architecture, and purpose. Installation is more than just copying files. It is the act of giving a machine its soul. Choosing an OS. The Genesis considerations abound: hardware compatibility, software requirements, CPU architecture, and the needs of the task at hand. A 64-bit OS for a 64-bit CPU, a Linux kernel for a server, a streamlined OS for an embedded system. Each choice shapes the future capabilities of the machine. Creating installation media. The spark of life to install an OS is to breathe life into silicon. USB drives, installation disks, or network images become the seeds from which digital minds grow. The BIOS or UEFI must be coaxed into booting from these sources. Its silent checks passed before the OS takes its first breath. First contact, the ritual language, time, region, and network settings. These are the first steps in defining the machine's identity. Then comes the partitioning of drives, the laying of digital foundations upon which code will stand. Finally, the system is named, its host name declared, a newborn entity in the digital wilderness. Maintaining the machine's health, the path to mastery. Once installed, an OS must be nurtured, updated, and defended. Patches close security holes, new features expand capability, and regular maintenance prevents the slow decay of neglect. For those who would master the machine, this is a lifelong task, a commitment to vigilance and care. And so the machine awakens, its circuits thrumming, its mind alive with electric fire. To command it is to walk the path of the architect, to understand its whispers and shape its dreams. This is the way of the hacker, the keeper of code, and the whisperer of silicon. This is my path. This is my purpose. The machine is my ally, its language my creed. Together, we will transcend the zeros and ones, the metal and memory, the pulses and protocols. This is the way of the operating systems, and I am their keeper.
Save journal entry.
Journal entry. Save.